Beautiful people, welcome back to another video. For those new here, my name is Pete. Some call me Pilot Pete. I'm a Boeing 767 airline pilot, and I'm coming to you live from New York City at approximately 10:30 a.m. local. Why is that significant? Well, that's because I'm officially on the clock getting paid to be an airline pilot. Pete, how is that possible? You're in street clothes, you're hanging out in what looks like your bedroom. How could that be? Well, I'm here to tell you exactly how that is, give you all the behind the scenes of an airline pilot. We got a 2-day trip, so if you want to come along for the ride, as always, let's go do it. So before I jump into the specific trip that I'm currently on, let's take a look at my November schedule. Here's what I pretty much got in the bid process for November. It's a 5-week bid period. I actually didn't get this JFK trip. I traded into it. I had a front end deadhead to, I think, Boston. And I just texted the JFK pilot and said, hey, would you mind, since I live here? They don't live in Boston or JFK, so they said, yeah, no problem. Then I got pickup here, front end deadhead to Boston. And then this beautiful trip, but also not beautiful. The places I'm going: Miami, Buenos Aires, Santiago, Chile, Quito, Ecuador, back to Miami. Orange means double deadhead. It's a long trip. It's a lot of flying. It's a lot of fun places, a lot of long overnights, a lot of pay, but this is the bummer. 27th is Thanksgiving. So that's why I was able to get such a good trip, because no one wants to fly on Thanksgiving. I'm not sure if I'm gonna keep it yet. Kind of all depends on what happens during these weeks. If I can get enough good flying throughout, then I'll probably give this one up and let someone else do it. But we'll see. None of my family has really much Thanksgiving plans, so we'll see if I stick with it. But back to why we're here, the JFK front end deadhead. So the trip that I'm currently on starts today at 9:30 Memphis time, which is 10:30 local here in New York. And it starts with a deadhead, which means the airline pays for my ticket from Memphis to JFK. Since there's no direct Memphis to JFK, I think I was transferring through Atlanta. That ticket costs about $330, I believe, for the company to buy that. I cancel that ticket, I deviate from my deadhead, and I get asked all the time, do you still get paid? Yes, you still get paid for the deadhead whether you get on it or not. If your deadhead ends up being longer, for example, Memphis to LA is shorter than New York to LA, you don't get paid extra if it takes you longer to get there. So sometimes it works in your advantage, sometimes in your disadvantages, depends on where you live compared to where you have to start. Anyway, this trip started in Memphis. Every trip always ends and starts there. The company bought me that deadhead ticket. I cancel it. I'm able to check in because I'm within 100 nautical miles of the airport, JFK. I live in Manhattan. That's simple. All day today, I'm getting paid to deadhead to JFK, but I don't have to do it since I'm already here. I'll text the captain in a little bit later on today and just tell him or her, I'm not sure who I'm flying with, that I'm already here, and don't worry about meeting me at the hotel or waiting for me for the ground transportation. I canceled all of that. I'm just gonna get myself a Uber to JFK tomorrow morning. It's bright and early. I can use that $330 that the company paid for my airline ticket to then pay for my Uber to JFK. So it ends up working out very well. I never have to really spend money out of pocket to get to or from the airport, which is such a luxury at my airline that all the other airlines I've flown with in my career did not have or offer. So this is a huge plus, especially living in the city that I live in. So today will be a day just living life in New York City. We're definitely gonna get a workout in. We'll say hi to SJ, see what she's up to, just do some kind of admin work, and yeah, nothing better than getting paid to be home. All right, we're getting started a little bit later than we want to, but we're here nonetheless, because you already know, folks, it's non-negotiable. Elliptical today, we're doing 40 minutes. So we got about 2 minutes left, and then we'll hit a quick chest workout. Gotta love getting paid to be home. It's the best little perk an airline pilot can do. I just get lucky based on where I live. Happens every once in a while. But Sonny and I were just talking how I haven't done a domestic trip like this in forever. So I've been getting really, really lucky with international trips. But we'll finish up on the elliptical. 6 days left to the New York City Marathon. Can't freaking wait. And we'll head back home. All right, like I mentioned, we got the New York City Marathon coming up, so we're here to make sure we look good when we're running shirtless in a couple of weeks, or a couple of days, I should say. It's SJ's idea to bring me here. We're entering the chamber, so we look good for our 26.2 miles. Just finished up some dinner. Sonia made some nice ground turkey vegetable stir fry thing. 7.3 out of 10. It was good, but I realized when you guys see this vlog, if you watch it when it drops, 3 p.m. Eastern time in New York, we will be an hour away from the New York City Marathon finishing line. And look who's getting her shirt all ready to go. Look at it. Good job. She just did some arts and crafts. Sonia with her Hoka shirt ready to rock.
Woohoo!
You excited?
Oh my gosh. Surreal. I'm so excited, so nervous, all the feels, all of them.
Why'd you put your name on your bib?
Because last year when I spectated, so many people did, and so many strangers were cheering. Everybody go Susan, go Peter, go Joey, go Mark, go Cecilia. Everyone was just cheering for all these strangers, and like, it's just that energy boost I'm definitely gonna need.
So yeah, it's a really good idea. Last year I ran with Pete across my chest, which I'll be doing again this year. Sonia, she didn't want to go with the Sharpie across the chest for whatever reason. So she went with Sonia there. Yeah, Sonia Horton, Peter Capio, if you want to follow us. We'll also post our bib numbers, and I'll be vlogging the whole thing, but that vlog won't come out till a week after this one. But yeah, we're getting really excited, really kicking in. Sonia's getting a little nervous, I think, but she trained her tail off. She's ready to crush. I trained okay enough to hopefully get her across the finish line. Sub 4:29 is what we're going for. Shirt's all ready to go, and it's currently almost 7 p.m., so I'll pack a little for my JFK flight tomorrow and wind down the night. Good morning. Currently on our way to JFK bright and early. About 6:30 a.m. Gonna be at JFK in about 20 minutes. So we're in a Uber on our way to our apartment. Early wake up. Today's 2-day trip, which is just gonna end today, actually turned into a 3-day trip because it's supposed to end today once I got to Memphis, but boom, picked up a trip to Omaha. So basically I woke up this morning, having breakfast, getting ready to head to the airport, and I checked open time and there was that Omaha trip, and I thought to myself, well, I'm going all the way out to Memphis. I'd rather work more with only one commute, if that makes sense. Instead of picking up a trip today, 4 days later, 6 days later, 7 days later, and doing like a bunch of flights, I'd rather just pack once, go, get paid, and fly home. That's exactly what we did. It was funny though, I called crew scheduling. I put in for the request, and it's automated, I should say, but it takes some time. So I called them and said, hey, special request. I don't know if I should pack 1 pair of underwear or 2. Can you please see if I'm gonna get that trip? She was kind enough on the phone to go ahead and process it. I was the first and only person who put in for it. So there it is on my schedule. We'll land in Memphis. We'll have our domestic kind of day layover there. I guess I call it a day stop, a couple hours. We'll work out, we'll have lunch, and then we'll be off to Omaha. But every kind of pilot schedule can kind of change just like that. Now this one is my own doing since I picked up the trip, but here's a perfect example of how you can kind of stack more days together, work more, get paid more, and kind of manipulate your schedule. Good morning from the ramp at JFK. Pre-flight in the 7-6. Just want to show you a cool little cloud layer. I'll zoom in. There's the ATC tower, JFK. That line as an airplane departs. Pretty cool. You don't see that every day. It's clear skies here, but right over there, just that little kind of, I don't want to call it marine layer, probably the ocean, and I don't know what else, but it's kind of a cool little cloud layer right there on the horizon. But we're just finishing up here. We got 2 hours and 30 minutes to Memphis, Tennessee. Like I said, then I got to go to Omaha. I extended my work trip because I love flying and I love work so much. Why not have more of it, right? What's wrong with more? Today marks a pretty special day, actually. Today will be the first day I'm wearing a jacket on a pre-flight this season, this year. 40 degrees here in JFK, so definitely wasn't going to leave home without it. Hopefully a little bit warmer in Memphis. 2 hours and 30 minutes. Let's go fly. All right, almost all loaded. Just waiting for the final cans to be loaded on the airplane so we can get out of here. Got our clearance, did all our checklists. Here's our route of flight down to Memphis, Tennessee. Should be a pretty smooth ride over DC area, and then probably a little bit bumpy over Charlie West VOR. As you can see, this weather pattern here is going to probably cause for a little bit of turbulence based on the unstable air. Then smooth ride into Memphis. We're hoping that this doesn't reach us at that point. It shouldn't, as long as we leave here on time, but just in case that weather pattern does hit Memphis, they gave us an alternate airport of Nashville, which just means, hey, airport's socked in, you hold for a little bit, oh, can't get in, fuel's running out, would go to Nashville. But I want to show you this cool little feature. It's pretty new, I think, on the charts here. Here's our taxi, here are all the airplanes, and then this part is what I was looking at. It's gonna be a long wait for takeoff. As you can see, all these airplanes lining up, early morning departure, but you click the runway that you're departing and it gives you your taxi out time, about how long it's gonna take. So there it is. Taxi out from 4 left, 27 minutes, and that makes sense based on all these freaking muggles trying to go places. So 2 hours and 30 minutes. I'll be pilot monitoring. Next stop, Memphis. It has been a minute. Hello from Memphis, Tennessee. It's been over 2 months since I've landed or just been in Memphis in general. For it being my base and being my hub, that's pretty crazy in my eyes. You know, most people are like, oh, you're based out of Memphis, flying in and out of Memphis a lot. Normally, yes, but if you've been watching the previous vlogs, you know I've been getting lucky with international trips and double deadheads and such. So I haven't been to Memphis in, like I said, about 2 months. Just saw a bunch of the cleaning people who I'm really good friends with, flight coordination behind the desk who I'm friendly with, and
I haven't seen you in forever. We thought maybe you'd work here anymore.
But no, I work here. I'm here. First time in Memphis, like I said, in a while. It was a good flight. Actually, what am I saying? Good flight. It wasn't really that good of a flight, so let me brief that real quick and tell you why. So the flight itself was actually fine. It was more so just the traffic leaving JFK. I think I ate my own words. I've been getting asked a lot about, have the government shutdowns been affecting any of your flights? And my answers have always been no, mostly because I'm going international. Deadheading, I haven't had any issues. Air traffic control are federal employees. They're not getting paid right now, but they are essential employees, so they do have to show up and go to work. Now, I don't know if this was just a coincidence, but look at the traffic while I'm trying to leave JFK today. This was a quick screenshot right before departure there, and I don't even want to count the amount of airplanes that were waiting to take off on runway 4. I mean, we waited on this freaking line since we pushed back from the gate. I mean, our actual gate is all the way up here, but these are just the airplanes that were in line to take off. Forget the airplanes trying to get back into their gate after landing, but safe to say, a long wait. In total, it took us over an hour to take off. So yes, JFK can get backed up. It's one of the most busiest international airports in the world, but I've flown out of JFK over 100 times in my life. Never have I had to wait an hour without like severe weather in the area, which there wasn't. So I think this has a little bit to do with the government shutdown and the lack of air traffic controllers just in the area, not necessarily at JFK, but when they're blasting the airplanes off to departure and center, they can only handle so many airplanes depending on how many people they have working the radar and stuff. So anyway, over an hour to freaking take off. And then when we did take off, coming through 19,000 feet, caught my like eye real quick. I kind of made one of those like, holy cow, for a 0.00 of a second. I was like, what is that? Because if you are a pilot, if you ever become a pilot, you'll realize that scanning for traffic can be difficult. What the part of the eye that catches things that are moving, I think it's either rods or the cones. I can't remember which one. But anyway, I digress. Out of the corner of my eye, I see something moving really fast kind of towards the airplane. It obviously gives you a startling effect. It was a freaking balloon. And not like a weather balloon or a hot air balloon, like a little kid's birthday balloon. As quick as I saw it, as quick as it flew by, we're going at that point close to 350, 400 miles per hour, climbing through 18,000 feet. And this little tiny speck balloon, I think it was green or blue, just ripped past our windshield. Captain didn't even see it, because like I said, you have to be like in that exact moment because it was this tiny. It's not like you can see it coming from far away. That was pretty unique. I haven't seen a balloon like that up at that altitude I don't think ever. Maybe, you know, closer to 8,000 feet I would have, but little kid's balloon, we were right over the Jersey Shore. So happy birthday to Billy if you're down there. I almost hit your balloon as we were taking off to Memphis. Otherwise, pretty good flight. The turbulence hit just like I had expected from that weather system. And then coming into Memphis, we had to shoot a hard ILS to runway 36 right. What I mean by hard ILS was we didn't break out from the clouds till about 500 feet above the ground. So you can't see anything, you can't see anything, you can't see anything, and then boop, you pop out. Captain landed 36 right, taxied to our gate, and we're here in Memphis for the first time in 2 months. So I've shown our sleep rooms a bunch on old vlogs, but since this is probably first for a few of you, this is what we get in our Memphis hub. That's me, what's up? But we get a little twin bed, blanket, pillow, chair, and they just revamped it. So if you go back and see old vlogs, these aren't in every room, but they're redoing it now. So we got new wallpaper, hangers. We're getting the upgrade, folks. Got a fan. This is our wake up call phone, so we don't have to set an alarm if we don't want. A little shelf area, but yeah, it's not much, but it does the trick. It really helps break up the day, because I got about 4 hours till my report time for Omaha. This is a nice place to kind of relax, chill. I'm gonna take the pilot uniform off, but I'm not gonna sleep. I'm gonna get after it, because you already know it's non-negotiable, folks. Let's go. But yeah, this is our sleep rooms. There's about, I don't know, 100 of them, 200 of them for pilots just to come in when they're on duty to change and relax and sleep between their flights.
A few moments later.
Well, folks, absolute disaster. The 2-month hiatus from Memphis is kicking me in the butt right now. Car ain't starting. The car ain't starting. Here we go. Dead skis, no bueno. Raining outside. Not what I wanted to deal with right now. Company's got jumper cables. My mom's got me on a AAA plan, I guess. So AAA's coming, but they won't be able to get through security. The jumper cables will get the car started. But then once I go get food, I turn it off. I know it's not gonna start because I already just tried charging it. Absolute disaster. This is what I get. I was in such a good mood. I was in such a good high, not having been here for over 2 months, and this is what I get. I bragged about it too much, and the Memphis car god said, wish me luck with this. This is gonna be a long freaking day before I have to go back to work. All right, we got the car started, which is good, but now the alarm won't go off. Panicking. Absolutely disastrous freaking little day over there with the car situation. Still not really resolved. Didn't get to work out, which was a total bummer. Luckily got some food real quick and spent most of my time dealing with the car. But otherwise, we're back to work now. It's our second and final leg of the day. We're going Memphis to Omaha, 1 hour, 30 minutes, 2 jump seaters. As you can tell, wet and rainy here in Memphis. There's actually a line of weather our entire route all the way there. So it's probably going to be pretty bumpy. It's windy in Omaha right now as that front passes over, but shouldn't be too bad by the time we get there, assuming that these kind of storms clear out of the way. It's actually 33,000 feet cruising altitude. Let's go fly. Howdy from Omaha, Nebraska. Pouring rain, bumpy storms, although we were above the storms on the flight here, but then descending into Omaha through the clouds, icing, wind, rain, sleet, hail, not all that actually, but it was a rough ride. It was a bumpy ride. Gusty winds on landing. Took off from Memphis. Everything kind of worked out. It's been a while, like I said, from Memphis, so just getting my bearings. The captain said she hadn't flown in a while as well, and took off. Weather was pretty much the entire route of the flight, as you can see here, as we headed northwest. but we were above it at 340. Pretty bumpy ride near the St. Joe VOR, which is just above Kansas City, Missouri. And then we started our descent down. They kept us fast, kept us high, so I had the speed brakes out. Speed brakes, for those who don't know, are the little lever right by the throttles I pull back that brings up these kind of spoilers on top of the wings. It decreases lift and allows the airplane to send steeper rate without increasing the speed. So we're about a 320 knots descending, full speed brakes getting down, got onto the approach. We were cleared for the ILS, the 3-2 left. It was an actual ILS because, as you see here in the weather, it's a little bit old, but 4 miles viz, rain, mist, few clouds at 1600. We broke out right around the final approach fix, which is right around FAP-on, and then flaps 25. Winds, like I said, were, I think at the time, like 360 at 18, gusting to 28. So a heavy, stiff crosswind from the right. It was my leg to land. Captain let me fly this one. We had brakes set to 3, gusty winds, rainy, first landing in Omaha in frickin' forever. Haven't been here in a long time. Came in a little fast, came in a little bit, not fast, but okay, I'll break it down. When you have gusty winds, you increase your approach speed because your speed is fluctuating so much with the headwind going away and coming back and going away with those gusty winds. So you carry in a buffer. That's the procedure. Well, if you have that speed as you're crossing over the threshold, thresholds, it's little, what we call the numbers, like right here is the threshold, these little white bars. This will be at 50 feet and right on approach speed. Well, if you're a little bit fast, it's gonna tend to make you kind of float down the runway. That's exactly what I kind of did. I carried in a little bit of extra speed because of those gusty winds and touched down a little bit firmer than I would like, down a little bit further than the, exact touchdown point that I would like. But we live, we learn. Jump seaters and captains said I did a good job, but overall go with an 8.1 out of 10. Room for improvement, but that's all right. We like room for improvement. That's good. Otherwise, we got quick 12 hours here in Omaha. I'm freaking tired, but as you know, didn't get to work out in Memphis because my freaking car is it's okay.
Inner peace.
It's not that big of a deal. Bigger problems in the world. My freaking stupid car didn't start, so I didn't get my workout in, which means I'm gonna do either 40-minute elliptical real quick or a light workout. I'll figure it out once I put my gym clothes on. And then my favorite flatbread sandwich taco thing is here. M's Pub. Right downtown Omaha. I stumbled upon it when I was here once, and they had this like Santa Fe freaking flatbread. It is so freaking good. It's a 6 o'clock local, so I'll hit the workout real quick. Probably shower. It's raining now, I don't know. Whatever. I'm gonna work out, go get that flatbread. I'm telling you guys, if you're ever in Omaha, M's Pub, this flatbread, salivating just thinking about it. All right, we did it, folks. We put our gym clothes on right away. Got down here, that's the key. You start getting comfortable, you start scrolling social media, you'll never make it. 36 minutes in, breaking a nice sweat. It's not negotiable. Let's go. Then we'll do just a quick little circuit, pump the muscles up a little bit, and then M's Pub. All right, we got our non-negotiable workout done. Now we're braving the elements for the M's Pub flatbread. So it's right in downtown Omaha. Here's this little area. It is cold and freaking windy here. I should have worn my other jacket, my black uniform jacket, because I should have a sweatshirt on. It's like 38 degrees, cold, rain, windy. My umbrella's flying around. I'll get my question out of the way. If you're new, 2 things I'm doing on every vlog: answering a question from the previous video and also talking to someone and getting them on the vlog, whether it's a pilot, a stranger, a homeless person, don't matter. But to answer the question, I got asked, how long did my fast last? And was it a good idea to fast while flying? So first things first, there's no regulation or rule against fasting while flying. The only rule is to make sure you're fit for duty. So obviously I took that into consideration. And if at any point in time I felt dizzy or not able to operate an aircraft, I would have stopped the fast and ate food. That never happened. Actually, the longer I went, the easier it got, the better I felt, the more alert, the more awake. It was great. So I ended up going 48 hours on the fast. And that was because when I landed back in New York and I wanted to keep going, ChatGPT said your first one shouldn't really go more than 44, 48 hours. But I easily could have. I felt great. Yeah, the fasting went for 48 hours. And for all those people concerned for my health, I appreciate it. Thank you very much. But know that fasting for me was something that I was able to handle very, very well. It's ironic though, because if a pilot goes to the bar, has 6 beers, eats McDonald's on the way home, and then smokes a cigarette before the flight, no one will bat an eye. But someone who works out every day, eats healthy, clean food, and is fasting, that's what it was making a little people concerned. So my opinion, a little backwards, but who am I to judge? Anyway, here we are, M's Pub. The flatbread awaits. They better have this thing ready to rumble for Big Pete. Folks, it's here. This is it. It's called a lavash, so it's like more like a cracker than a flatbread. I go with the Santa Fe without beans or corn. This thing is so freaking good. I cannot tell you how amazing it is. You have to try it if you're ever in Omaha. Walking home from dinner over there, and I swear I didn't want dessert, but the crepe shop caught my eye. We went with s'mores. I mean, to my defense, I got the New York City Marathon on Sunday, so carbs aren't the worst thing for me. Plus, I had this intense crosswind landing. I feel like I deserved a little sweet treat. Very short yet effective little layover here in Omaha. Got my flatbread, crepe, 10 out of 10. See you guys tomorrow. Good morning. 6:11 a.m. Transportation's scheduled for 6:15. 43-degree morning here in Omaha. So we got the jacket on, stretched a little bit, got ready, and hopefully it's not raining for the walk around for the 7-6. Brief flight in Omaha, and we'll get going to Memphis. Well, folks, just kidding. Pete, why are you walking back to your hotel room? Well, the inbound plane hasn't even left Memphis yet. So the plane we're supposed to fly from Omaha to Memphis is still in Memphis, which is no bueno for Pete to get home today. Very disappointed. Why is it happening? Well, it's because it's pouring rain, very bad gusty winds in Memphis. So delays are inevitable, but check the schedule before I really woke up after my alarm went off to see if there was any delays. I knew there was weather in Memphis last night into early this morning, but it didn't say anything about delays. So that's the negative about domestic, is there's so many flights that not all flights schedules are kind of updated. Not to mention they're not obligated to tell the pilots, hey, your flight's delayed, because they could just still have you go and sit at the airport because you're on duty for whatever the time would be, 14 hour duty period. But yeah, no fun. The way I found out, believe it or not, was the driver. The driver is downstairs in the lobby. He was the one scheduled to drive us to the Omaha ramp, and he's also the one scheduled to pick up the inbound crew. So I was checking out, and he goes, hey, you might want to keep your room key. I said, what's going on? And he's like, your inbound plane hasn't even left yet. I was like, oh. So sure enough, sat down there with the captain for a couple minutes, called all the appropriate parties, and yeah, it's just weather delay. Now we run the risk of that crew calling out fatigue or timing out, because they started last night at like 8 p.m. So their duty day is extended a lot. So I don't know exactly what's going on down there as far as, how bad the weather is. Like I said, the wind's super gusty. So yeah, life of an airline pilot, not always the most glamorous. So I just took my room key and back into my room where it all started, and basically we'll just track the inbound plane because there's nowhere we can go. And before you ask, oh, what about another plane? At my company, there is no like spare plane in Omaha. It's an outstation. Kind of like if you were flying your hometown airlines that's based in Atlanta, for example, and you're in New Orleans. There's no like spare planes sitting in New Orleans. There's spare planes in Atlanta. There's spare planes in Memphis for us, Indy, in our maintenance bases, but not just at these smaller outstations. So, and the other bummer part, like I said, I was mentioning earlier about domestic, there's a wake up call. So again, it's not international, but if it was, Omaha ramp would not have called our hotel phones till an hour prior to go time. So they would have been tracking the inbound plane, and this would never have happened. But I'm awake. I'm not really that tired, but it's going to be a lot more comfortable sitting in my own room out of the pilot uniform, just relaxing. So we'll sit and wait, and I'll keep you guys updated. Well, folks, update. We finally made it to the Omaha airport. I'm in the flight deck of the 76 right now. The plane just got here a little bit ago. I think it landed, I don't know, 2.5 hours late from Memphis. Now they had to offload the airplane, sort it in their sorting facility, and then reload it back onto the jet. So about 35 minutes from now, they said we should be able to potentially start making moves. So for now, captain's in the crew room, kind of just hanging out. Been here for over an hour and a half now. I decided to just come to the jet and show you guys a little bit of the airplane. All right, so we're finally making some progress. The Boeing 767, she's all ready to go fly. You can probably hear the wind whipping in the background. It is freaking cold. The wind is not helping. I already missed my flight home. Just got dripped on by the little bumper here. I've mentioned this before, but that bumper's there so that if we tail strike the airplane, that pin would pop. It's not popped, so no one's tail strike this airplane yet, at least. And it just has some water dripping from it from the rain and stuff that Omaha has been having. But I'll stand out of that. Otherwise, short flight to Omaha. I'll be pilot monitoring. Obviously, kind of stinks that I missed my flight home. I'll have to wait for the jump seat. I'll have a bunch of hours in Memphis to get some food and hopefully get my car started. That'll be a win. But yeah, Omaha, man, it kind of stinks when you're delayed, but it is what it is, part of the deal. You've been delayed as a passenger. You're going to be delayed if you become a pilot. It's just part of life, right? Like, just like traffic, death, taxes, and delayed flights. They just happen. It is what it is. So I try to not get too worked up about it. Such is life. Things happen. At the end of the day, you always get to where you want to go anyway. Whether you're an hour late or 10 days late, you'll eventually get there. There's always another flight. There's always another train. There's always another plane. So hour and 34 minutes to Memphis. Let's go do it. All right, folks, we made it to Memphis. I'm back at the jet, as you can see here, because I'm jump seating home. It was a long day. Got the car restarted, battery replaced. Shout out to AAA for hooking me up. Rainy crosswinds, but I'll debrief the flight when I have room and ability to talk. Next stop's Newark on the jump seat, but we're already looking at like an hour and a half delay. ATC is keeping us on the ground here, so long day's got a little bit longer, but keeping the spirits high. And hope he'll be home soon. And just like that, folks, we're finally back in Casa de Pilot Pete, New York City. What a long freaking day, though. It was a freaking balloon. Well, folks, absolute disaster. Raining outside. Panicking, gar. No bueno for Pete to get home today. Started in Omaha at 5 a.m. Delays. Finally got out of Omaha, I think after all said and done, 4 hours late. But again, we roll with the punches. It is what it is. No one's fault, just weather being the main factor. And then things just kind of snowball from there. The government shutdown, lack of ATC, that doesn't help the scenario, but the weather definitely played the biggest factor. Overall, good flight, but I actually got to fly. I was actually not pilot monitoring, I was pilot flying. And that's because when we were pre-flight and getting ready to go, the captain was like, hey, you don't have that many landings. Meaning on our iPads, in our dispatch release, it'll say the pilot's name and how many landings they have in the past 90 days. The reason that's significant is every airline pilot's required to make 3 takeoff and landings every 90 days to stay current. We have to go into the simulator and do a whole takeoff and landing scenario. So I had about 5 landings since I haven't been working that much and international trips and longer legs. She had in the 20s, I think. So she's like, hey, if you want it, it's yours. So I gladly accepted it. It's always more fun to fly than to just do the radios. Coming into Memphis though, hard ILS to runway 36 left, meaning again, hard. We didn't break out of the rain and clouds till about 500 feet and gusty winds coming into Memphis today. I'll show you exactly what I mean. Coming into runway 36 left there, turn the autopilot off around about 700 feet or so, right when we broke out of the clouds. But the wind was, I think at the time, like 270 at 18, gust 28. And that was at the runway. So when you're 500 feet above the ground, it's a little bit stronger than that. This is how we broke out of the clouds, meaning the POV of the cockpit, I was facing this way if this was the actual runway, but the airplane was moving this way because the wind was pushing so hard left to right that we were nosing into the wind, but the airplane was still flying this track of 360. So had to do a nice fun crosswind landing, which if you do it like the pros do it, oh, oops, you don't do that. If you do it like the pros are doing it, as you're coming into land, you bring that power out right about 30 feet in the Boeing 767, nice and easy. I'm kicking the right rudder over. So the right rudder is that right pedal. That's gonna bring the nose lined up with the runway, but the wind will start to push you. So you gotta dip that wing. That's exactly what I did. Touchdown on the left main first, followed by the right main, then the nose wheel. And then we rolled out and exited at Mach 7. Honestly, one of my better crosswind landings in a minute. Smooth touchdown, rainy, gusty wind conditions. I hate to do this. I hate to do it. 9.7 out of 10. It was butter. I mean, you guys would have loved it in the back seat there. But no, it was with all the conditions. I was very, very happy, very pleased with it. Every once in a while, us airline pilots get a little bit lucky. Taxied to the gate. And since we were so late, I didn't have that much time. Like I said, I got my battery changed in the parking lot of the car. Hopefully that's good for the next couple of years. Don't have that issue. And then caught the jump seat back from Memphis to Newark, but we were delayed about an hour leaving Memphis because the air traffic control held all departures going towards New York just because of weather and air traffic control delays. So the government shutdown is definitely affecting, I think, planes. I just haven't felt it so much because I haven't been doing that much domestic flying lately. Before we close out the vlog, I said I'm gonna interview someone each video. I dropped the ball on this one, I'm not gonna lie, but I have someone here to save the day. It's Miss SJ.
I feel like that's an insult. Am I your last resort?
It's just that you're a common
guest
on the show. So
it's not a surprise.
It's not a surprise, and it's not really, I'm not going out of my comfort zone by like interviewing or talking to someone new.
You don't get nervous to talk to me?
No, I do. It's just like the guests are just used to you by now, but they'll have to deal with it. It's SJ as a surprise guest for today. When you guys watch this video though, it'll be Sunday, November 2nd, and that is significant because drum roll please. Sonia will be running the New York City Marathon. She just picked up her bib today. There it is in all its glory, 19675. Make sure you track her to see how she did. I'll be running besides her. I think I'm 19688 is my bib number, and we're gonna pace her. What's the goal?
The goal is potentially 4:15. I'm trying not to stress myself out.
What time would you like to beat?
I would like to beat 4:30.
Sub 4:30 is what we're aiming for.
Yeah.
She has the best pacer. I'm ready to rock with her. Knees feeling good enough to do a sub 4:30 marathon. It'll be my second time ever running the New York City Marathon. We both hit our fundraiser goals. So for all those who donated, all the money going to Children's Aid. Thank you. Seriously though, we met with the organization leaders just a couple days ago. They thanked us so much. We've been posting on our social medias, and it helps underprivileged youth in the New York City area, which, as we all know, all the underprivileged kids everywhere in the world, but especially here in New York City, deserve to have, full facilities and the ability to succeed in life. So thank you again for that. We really do appreciate it. But Sonia's first marathon, show them the bib. There it is. It's freaking real, folks. It's happening. There's my one from last year. So she's going for the medal, and we're going to rock. So when you guys watch this at 3 p.m., if you watch it right when it drops on Sunday, we should just be finishing at that time. Yeah, we should just be finishing at that time. So special guest, thank you, Sonia, for coming on the program. We really appreciate it. And as always, folks, if you enjoyed this video, I appreciate a subscription. 100K is the goal by the end of year. It's gonna be kind of close. We're gonna cut it close. We're gonna cut it close unless one of these pops off and goes viral. No, seriously, appreciate it. Comments below. Hit me up on Instagram if you have any questions. And the next video will be a pilot talk with a special guest. And then the next one after that will be New York City Marathon. So love you guys. Appreciate all the support. See you next time.